Hi there, I'm Saud Juman, President and CEO of Policy Medical, and welcome to our Health and Wellness segment. This is a new segment that we'll be doing, talking about health and wellness techniques that our customers and prospective customers and anyone really working within the hospital and healthcare setting can utilize on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis. Today I'm here with a good friend of mine, UJ Ramdas, who is going to be talking to us about a few really interesting topics. And the reason that we're talking about health and wellness is simply because we've noticed that those that are working within hospital and healthcare compliance are under an immense amount of pressure that's leading to significant burnout and quite a bit of disruption in their work-life balance. So the very first thing that I'd want to talk about today with UJ is journaling. So UJ, why don't you talk to us a little bit about how journaling has been important to you and what you've been doing in the field of journaling, just so some people have some insight.
Sure. So I want to say, when you journal, typically you want to start with a result in your mind. What am I journaling for? What's the point of this? And a couple of years, I journal quite a bit. I have 3 or 4 journals for different things, different results. And one of the things I created with a good friend of mine, Alex, is something called a 5-minute journal. It allows you to wake up and sleep with purpose. It's like a toothbrush for your mind. So it allows you to start the day with gratitude and end the day with celebration. And so it's a nice morning routine. And the purpose of that is to really bring happiness and well-being into your life. So that's the purpose. Journaling typically allows you to put thoughts and feelings on paper, which is a really good way of objectifying subjective emotions and experiences as you're going through them. And so, a lot of people recommend experience. Journaling is a great way as a release. It's an emotional release, it's a mental release. It's a great way to get rid of all of the worries in your head, put on paper. And when you put it on paper, you can look at it, it becomes objective. And then you can distance yourself from it, and it becomes a great way to put your worries on paper and have it leave your body.
So you mentioned several gems right there.
Sure.
So the first question I wanted to ask you is the 5-minute journal. So what is the 5-minute journal essentially?
The 5-minute journal is a journal that allows you to use 5 questions over the course of the day.
Okay.
3 in the morning, 2 at night, to start the day with purpose. The final 2 to end it with celebration. And so the first question is, what are you grateful for? As soon as you wake up in the morning, ideally the first thing you do is start with gratitude. It's a wonderful way to begin the day, and there's a lot of research in the positive psychology that shows experiencing gratitude on a consistent basis is critical to the development of happiness and well-being, of close social ties, etc. And the important part right there is to experience the emotion of gratitude. It's really critical. So let's say I ask you, Saud, what are you grateful for right now? What would you say?
I would say sunshine. Sunshine in Toronto, Canada.
Sunshine
and warm. Yes.
That's great. And so that's something that came from your mind. Now, if you wait a few more seconds, you can allow the feeling of gratitude to enter your body.
Yes.
Right? And how does that feeling feel?
I guess if I were to tap into that, just being.
Yeah. And where do you feel that feeling in your body?
Physically, I'd say from what I call my gut.
Gut.
Yes.
Perfect. It's a great answer. And so the important part is to experience gratitude, feel that feeling in your body, and then put pen on paper.
So you spoke about gratitude. And so is it fair to say that journaling in this way helps to establish some type of trend or habit of gratitude?
Absolutely. And so the way that some people do it that I think is not fully accurate is they think it and they put it down. That's going to help mentally identify what's good. But the emotion, the feeling, is really where the gold is at. And this way of journaling with gratitude, where you're experiencing the emotion in your body, allows you to train your mind to emotionally be resilient, not just mentally resilient.
So what's something that a busy executive, somebody that's really under a lot of pressure to keep an organization out of trouble, to care for patients, somebody that's constantly giving and helping with the well-being of others, what's a simple tactic or some tactics that they can do to start embracing journaling and the establishment of gratitude on some type of minuscule or daily level?
Great question. So one of them, you can look up the 5-minute journal. You don't have to buy it. You can look it up and see what the format is.
Okay.
So you can either get it for yourself or you can use some version of it. It's very concise. It was engineered for time constraints.
Okay.
There's no reason there's 5 minutes in there, right? It was engineered for a time constraint, and that allows you to really focus in your intention and feel expansive as you start the day instead of feeling contractive. Stress is contractive, recovery is expansive. That's one of them.
Okay.
Second, before starting work, getting all of their worries on paper, even for a 5-7 minute chunk, is going to be very effective. It's like static. Right? Our mind is a machine.
Yes.
And it needs operating. It needs to operate well. Sometimes people operate with static in machinery, and it reduces the effectiveness.
So it's offloading in a way.
Exactly.
Because I've tried that myself, and just this disclosure to everyone, I do have my own 5-minute journal and I do use it. So I find that way of journaling with the questions that you've engineered has established really in sort of my core a feeling of gratitude, but then also the technique of just offloading, just almost putting pen to paper and just letting it flow before the day begins. It brings some clarity.
Absolutely. And actually, if you can do it on pen and paper, you can do it on a computer screen. Different people resonate with different things. We also have an app for some people who really like electronic stuff and they can't get enough of it, and that's okay. If that's your thing, do that. There is no restraint. Any way you want to offload and put information down, be it pen and paper, be it recording into something and letting it kind of get out through your voice, whether it is electronically, kind of typing on a tablet or computer, doesn't matter. The point is you're getting static out of the system before you start. And typically, a check-in and a check-out, the beginning and the end, are two incredibly important parts of anything of value. A workday, if you're spending a good 8+ hour chunk, depending on the person involved, especially hospitals, way more than that.
Yes. It's going to be 12 to 14, 15, 16 hours.
Exactly. And so kind of in a very clear, conscious start and a conscious end would be really wonderful ways to build greater performance, greater retention, and also allow them to emotionally mentally check in and check out so they don't leave with the stresses that they came in with or they accumulated over the course of the day. The hospital is a stressful place sometimes.
Got it. So I guess my final question with regards to journaling, if the folks that are looking at this video, if they were to write one thing down and a sticky note, a post-it note, and stick it onto the nursing station computer, what's one thing that they could write down as a reminder to start triggering this potential habit of journaling?
This is a great question. So, what if they would take a sticky note, put it on the computer? Don't start the day without writing 3 things I'm grateful for. And really experiencing the feeling of gratitude as they start. It's going to take them less than a couple of minutes. It's going to significantly increase their performance in the day.
Fantastic. Well, UJ, thank you for this. I really appreciate it. And hopefully everybody watching this has learned a thing or two about journaling. I know I have. I've been journaling for many years, but every time I get a chance to talk to UJ, I learn something else. So thank you very much for watching this health and wellness segment.